everyone, in this video I'm going to talk again about running technique and specifically this idea of leaning forwards when running and how we can use this in order to run faster without really having to put much more effort in, which I'm sure is something that a lot of you will be interested in being able to do. So the idea of leaning forward when running is nothing new. However, there is a right way of doing it and there is a wrong way. So first of all, we're going to look through the rationale as to why we do it, and then we're going to explore the good way and the bad way of doing so. So the idea behind it is relating to this idea of the centre of mass, which is the average location of where your body's weight is distributed. So this, in a human being, is located in the abdomen. So the idea is we want to have our centre of mass moving forward because that's how we're going to basically move from A to B. And by leaning forwards, we can actually get our centre of mass to move forward a bit easier. So you probably do this already because when you think about it, if you're running really steadily over a long distance, then you're probably quite upright. Whereas if you start to run a bit quicker, say for example you're doing your 400 metre intervals, then you'll probably start to lean a bit further forwards because you're leaning where you want to go and you've got that sort of natural tendency to sort of have that forward lean. However, a key mistake that a lot of runners make is leaning forward from the waist rather than from the ankle. So if I can just demonstrate by replicating this sort of mid-stance position. So this is our point where we're sort of halfway through our drive phase of the gait cycle. At this point we're bending our knee very slightly in order to reduce our shock. So it's that shock absorption, so we don't want our knee to be locked out, we want it to be slightly bent. But of course not excessively because that's going to be inefficient, so it's not like we're going to go into a one-legged squat. So from this position, what people do is often they'll lean forward through the waist like that. However, if we think about what's happening to my centre of mass as I do this, so yes, my torso is coming forward, but we're not really gaining any forward momentum because we've got an equal amount of weight going back. So our bum is sort of moving backwards, so it's sticking out essentially. So our net gain is actually zero. So my centre of mass is still positioned in the same place. My weight is still distributed exactly the same because the average hasn't changed because I've moved forward as well as moving back. However, if we compare that to leaning forwards from the ankle, then we can maintain this nice alignment. Everything above the ankle is going to be in that same alignment, but we're going to lean forwards and we're going to move forward into our next stride. So that's how we're going to get our centre of mass to move forwards. So if I replicate this mid-stance again, I can't lean forward very much without having to put my foot down. So hopefully you can see the subtle but important difference of leaning forwards from the waist, which is obviously inefficient. We're not going to gain that forward momentum. We're also going to limit our hip flexor range of motion, and compare that to leaning forward from the waist. So treat this as leaning forward from the foot. So treat this as a technical drill. You can hold on to the wall and just subtly lean forwards until you can feel like you need to basically put your foot down in order to avoid face planting. I hope you found that interesting and useful, and I'll see you again soon.